What's up, guys? It's been a couple weeks, but now it's time for Funky to answer your questions from the Q&A that I posted about Metal Gear a couple weeks ago. So for those of you who missed out on the questions, well, better luck next time. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. I originally said this was going to be sorted by Metal Gear questions first and others second, but a lot of people who asked questions asked multiple questions, and one question about Metal Gear, another question about something else. So in that case, I'm just going to go through every question I got, slash comment. I'm probably going to read the whole comment. And, yeah, let's just get it started. I got them right there on my computer. My computer's right there in front of me. So let's get this cracking. The first question today, by the way, this is in no particular order. I just grabbed them in the order that it was in when I looked at the video. It was probably by either top comment or it was by last comment. That's probably top comment, which who the hell knows what top comment is sorted by these days, especially if none of them have thumbs ups. The ones I reply to, I don't know. Anyways, let's not digress. Let's get right into this. I want this to be a lot shorter than the last Q&A video I did. So here we go. First question is from Shin Bacareno. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but here we go. Here's the question slash comment. From any of the Metal Gear games, 1, 2, 3, 4, Peace Walker, 5, and Rising, if there was any of the bad guys teams you would join, which would it be? And I don't mean join because they look cool or whatever, but if you thought any of them had a valid point in doing what they did and their ideals, which ones you might most likely join with. So basically, joining one of the groups, meaning like, I think somebody has them listed here in one of the comments, such as the Foxhound, the Dead Cell, the Beauty and the Beasts, the bosses dudes. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. I'm looking for the comment right now. It's in here somewhere. Where the hell is it? Wow, this is off to a fantastic start. But anyway, which one would I join because of their ideals, and not just because they look cool? Obviously, if they look cool, it'd probably be Foxhound, but obviously that's not the question. The question is, which one would I join ideal-wise? And this is one I would kind of wish I would have thought of ahead of time. But, I don't know if I would join any of them, but I guess if I have to choose one, can I say I'd join the Beauty and the Beast because they're all hot chicks? No. How about, it would probably be the boss. I would probably join her group. I forget what they're called. The Cobra Unit. There's the list. I see them right now. I look over now. The Cobra Unit. Yeah. And my name would be the Funk. Why would I join them? As much as I didn't like the boss as a character, now that we've learned more about her ideals because of Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5, I can't disagree with what she was trying to do. So that is something that's I can agree with. So being part of her crew, probably not. Like, probably is best case scenario. I don't know if I like Foxhound's ideals, at least not if you're basing it on what's going on in Metal Gear Solid 1. You definitely don't like their ideals there. Anyway, yeah. I'll just leave it at that. I would probably join the Cobra Unit. You can take that as you will. And, yes, my name would be the Funk. Okay, so next question comes from aislemaster, one of my longtime viewers. He has 3 questions for me, so let's get through them quickly. What did you think was the worst plot twist in all of Metal Gear? And his opinion is that it was Venom not being Big Boss, which is the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5. Which do I think is the worst plot twist in all of Metal Gear? I might have to agree with the Big Boss not being Venom. Or Venom not being Big Boss, rather. Same, either or. While it was an interesting twist in that I didn't really see it coming because I didn't read too far into what was going on in Metal Gear Solid 5, I would say it wasn't great. And it definitely wasn't a twist people wanted because people wanted to play as Big Boss after, Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker, so... Or, yeah. I don't know. I have to agree. Cause it would make sense to go ahead and pick from that latest game I just played since it was my least favorite of the storyline-wise. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just agree with you because that is the first thing that comes to mind. Also, I can't think of one that I was disappointed in Metal Gear plot twists. Anyway, your other two questions, let's get to them. For years, there had been talk about a Metal Gear game that would star the boss. What do you think of that? And do you think it would work as part of the Metal Gear saga? Well, I think it would have worked if you did it more closer to Metal Gear Solid 3, but having all these extra fables and stories about her in Peace Walker and in 5, I mean, sure, I think you could still do it even to right now, but I think because Kojima's gone, it's not going to happen ever. At least not one revolving around the boss. I guess I can't say ever, unless they really make a weird spin-off type thing that, like, the gameplay is really different. But anyway, the way I look at it is it would have been cool. Maybe it would have made me like the boss more, and who knows. But, yeah, I'll just say it would have been cool, because maybe if every Metal Gear you played it as a different character, it would have been cool. I don't know. It just depends. I don't know, it just depends. Because technically, if you really think about it, you do technically play as a different character every game, for the most part. Even though it's still a Snake in most of them, you're playing as like a different version of Snake. Solid Snake, Old Snake, the one that's Big Boss, what's he called? Naked Snake. And then you play as Venom Snake, which is Big Boss again. So you're technically playing as 3 people in the Metal Gear Solid games. Solid Snake, Raiden, Big Boss. But, different forms and versions of them changes their who they are technically. So you really do play as a different person in every game, technically, if you want to get schmechnical. But, yeah. A game with the boss as the star would have been cool. I probably would check it out. I think it would work if they did it right. But I think they would fuck it up if they did it now. It'd be it's too late. That ship has sailed. Anyway, last question from aislemaster is, should the 2 original Metal Gears from the MSX days be remade? That would be Metal Gear 1 and 2. I played them as one-off Wednesdays last year during Metal Gear month, Metal Gear March month. Do I think they should be remade? Sure. I don't see any problem with that. They seem like they're pretty cool games. I'd play them if they're remade. I still feel like I should play them all the way through as it is, so being remade, I don't see any problems with remaking anything from the NES era. I know it's not an NES game, but it's an era of that era. I'm okay with any of that stuff being remade to look cool and updated, because NES, one of the best generations of gaming, for sure. There's a lot of shit, don't get me wrong, but in terms of just a lot of play, I don't know. I shouldn't say a lot of playability, but when games still were difficult and didn't hold your hand, that's an era I do kind of sort of miss, even though I can't beat a lot of those old games. All right, let's move on to the next question. I've wasted a lot of time here. All right, next question comes to us from neonspec, another one of my longtime viewers. How's it going, bruh? He was wondering if I've replayed Metal Gear Solid 2 at all, because I liked the game way more when I played it a second time, because I noticed all the similarities to the first game and what's really going on with the story in MGS2. Also, what are your thoughts on Kojima making the game that way? Did you think it was a letdown or a clever throwback twist related to Metal Gear Solid 1? So basically, what are my overall thoughts on Metal Gear Solid 2 in relation to Metal Gear Solid 1? And have I replayed it? No, I have not replayed the whole game. The only thing I've done on Metal Gear Solid 2 since I beat it was I played some of the VR missions, because back when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 not too long after 2, I actually was practicing on Metal Gear Solid 2, just playing the VR missions. So that's as much as I ever went back to in Metal Gear Solid 2. I have not replayed the whole game, not at all. What did I think about the, what was it? Also, thoughts on, the fact that he made it related to Metal Gear Solid 1, like the whole story was supposed to be like having the events of Metal Gear Solid 1 play out again a little differently with different characters, and then, yeah. What did I think of that? I think it was okay. I don't know. I wasn't blown away by it. It was a little, I guess that's another one of those twists. I didn't think it was an amazing twist. I thought it was a good twist. It wasn't a bad twist, I'll say that. Certainly, definitely made me look at the game a little differently, and I guess if I do play it again, I would probably maybe have a higher opinion of it. It's still, I mean, as it stands, my fourth out of 5 games, you know what I mean? Still number 4. I don't know if that would change, though. It just depends on how much I'd rather change my opinions on 4 and 5, on 3 and 4, because I think Metal Gear Solid 1 is going to be my favorite no matter what. But anyway, did I think it was a letdown or was it clever? I don't think it was either. I think it was just what happened. It wasn't that clever. I mean, it was okay, and it didn't take away anything from me either. It was just what the story was. I don't know. I guess I'm just jaded because I watched too many movies and I know plot twists in and out. Anyway, neonspec's got 2 more questions. Let's move on. How would you rank the Cobra unit from Metal Gear Solid 3? Basically from my favorite to least favorite and why. Not in terms of boss battles, but just in terms of cool factor and how I like them. I like that because then I don't have to worry about how hard or how much I like their boss battles. Okay, in that case, what do I think about the Cobra unit? He's got them listed here, so I don't have to remember all of them. But my favorite out of the Cobra unit was probably... Favorite out of the Cobra. Probably the Sorrow. I don't know. He just seemed creepy, and I have fond memories of adding that Undertaker Ministry of Darkness song to the Walk Through the River. I don't know. Something about him was just creepy. I liked it. And then after that's probably the End, and then the Boss, and then maybe the Fear after that, because he seemed kind of cool, but he didn't last long. And then the Fury, and then the Pain. Because the Pain was the first boss battle, right? After you fight Ocelot. I remember you fight Ocelot on that little gun fight before you go down in the cave and fight the Pain. I didn't like the Pain that much. There was nothing to his character, so he can be last. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, to recap that, it was the Sorrow, the End, the Boss, the Fear, the Fury, and the Pain. That just sounds like an awesome sentence. I'm going to just repeat that forever. Alright, so last question from neonspec. Would you consider at some point down the line doing a blind LP series of the Legacy of Kain series? Blah, blah, blah. He lists all the games. In his opinion, it is similar to Metal Gear Solid in that it has a big overarching story with twists and deep characters, etc. Would I consider playing Soul Reaver games? Or Legacy of Kain games? Soul Reaver is one of the games in the series. Legacy of Kain. I might play one. I'm not going to say I'll play the whole series. I never will say that about any series unless I know it's a series I've been waiting to play. But I could play one of them, possibly the first one on PlayStation, one day. It's not on my list of to-dos right now, but I will never say never to a PS1 era game that I have not touched. I do remember playing, I believe it was the first Soul Reaver game. It was like a demo, or either that or my friend had it on Dreamcast, I can't remember. Either way, I have played a little bit of it. I remember it being okay, but it wasn't my style of game at the time. It could be something I could get into nowadays, now that I get into pretty much anything. So I won't rule it out, but don't look forward to it anytime soon. Next person. The next best question came from SooR IC. SooR IC. Hopefully I'm putting the names of these people on the screen for you to see how to spell them, and you know who you are. Simple question. Marry, date, or fuck? Quiet. Can I just say yes? I'd fuck her. The end. Alright. Next question comes to us from Crystal Graves. Let's see. The question is, hey Funky, just curious, but there's also a Twin Snakes Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube. It's pretty much a remake of the first one, but with the use of Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. So my question is, will you start with that or not? And given that I'm aware that if you play the game, you'll know how to beat it, but there are some elements of it that are different, as opposed to it being the same as Metal Gear Solid PlayStation version. So, will I play Twin Snakes? I guess that's the question. No. I've never planned on playing Twin Snakes. I know what it is. People have talked about it ever since I played Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1. And I've known about it even since before that, because I remember when it came out thinking it was a whole nother Metal Gear game, and people were like, no, it's just like a remake of the first one. Okay, well, that's cool. And I still had never played them. So, the plan is no. I think the only thing that could get me to play Metal Gear Solid 1 again on my channel was to actually have them remake the original one, and actually remake the original one, not change it for... I don't know. I guess the GameCube one is a remake, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. From what I've heard of it, from what I've heard, it's not going to work based on what they did with it, so I'm just not going to play it. I'm not saying I'll never play it, I guess, but I'm definitely not going to let's play it. I'll just tell you that now. No more Metal Gear Solid 1 unless they remake the original one. But that's not going to happen. Moving on. Next question comes from... Oh, this guy actually had multiple comments. Not just multiple questions, but multiple comments. So here we go. This one is from Peter Kearns. What up, Peter? Funky, did you hope to see Solid Snake appear in the game? Oh, like in Metal Gear Solid 5, I would imagine. And were you completely... and let's just start with one question at a time. He's got like a multiple question paragraph here. So did I expect to hope to see Solid Snake appear in the game? Yes, especially after we saw Eli, who ended up being Liquid. So once I saw him, I 100% thought we were going to see David/Solid Snake. I really thought we were going to, but we didn't. Am I disappointed? A little bit. Was I completely confused, like you, about Ocelot? He seemed like a lovely bloke in Phantom Pain, yes, yet he was mental in Metal Gear Solid 1. What happened? I don't know what happened. I agree. He was like such a, like, I don't even know. The only thing you could see about Ocelot is that you knew he was kind of a badass. We're talking about in Metal Gear Solid 5 specifically. You could tell he was kind of a badass with his little gun tricks that he did, and then the part where he was torturing people, you knew that was his thing. But otherwise, his demeanor is not Ocelot-like at all, and I was like, what the this is not, this cannot be the same Ocelot we've been dealing with since Metal Gear Solid 1. What the hell happened to him, man? Like, if this is the Ocelot we're supposed to believe from Metal Gear Solid 5 is the one in Metal Gear Solid 1, what happened between then and then that, the 2 times? Some crazy shit must have happened to Ocelot. Where's the Ocelot starred game? Fuck the bosses starred game. Where's the Ocelot one so we know what the hell happened to him? Anyway, these questions continue. Let me keep going. What did I think of the lack of voice acting? There were scenes where the big boss didn't say a word and it was awkward as hell. Agreed. What did I think of it? It was awkward as hell. I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to say that a game needs more voice acting. It was a little weird that Kiefer didn't talk more. Maybe that's just was a product of they only had Kiefer for a certain amount of time and they couldn't have him record for days and days of dialogue. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, it was a little weird that he didn't talk as much. Definitely David Hayter doing Snake's voice. He talked a lot more most of the time, and he had a lot more to say, and it was a little bit more character to what he was saying. I'm good on Jack Bauer. I'll pass on him for the future. Anyway, and there's one final question in this part of this comments. If there was a remade MGS1 New Gen, would you play it? I think I've already answered this. Yes, I would. And then he had actually posted another comment where he put another question. What are my thoughts on the Kojima-Konami split? Do you think that was the reason that story and Chapter 2 was so bad? And should Konami ever make another Metal Gear game without him? I thought the split was not surprising because Kojima's, I don't know, I don't know if he's hard to work with or something, but he's got to be a diva at this point. Metal Gear Solid is such a big franchise, and I'm sure they did him dirty because big video game companies always do their best developers dirty, and then they always split off and start making their own shit. I mean, look at the Mega Man guy, look at the Castlevania guy. I don't know if they got did dirty by their companies, but now they're doing their own things, and they're doing spin-off or like games that are sort of like the games they're known for. Yeah, I think that the split wasn't surprising. It's I think that it was 100% the reason why the rest of the game is not very good. In fact, I know it is, and a big reason for that is also just I think it's partially Kojima's fault that the game was not the way it was supposed to be either, because he tried to make it too big. The open world thing, he tried to do that along with making the story epic, and I think he went too big, and that's why he had to go home. He went hard and he went home. I think that's what happened. Should they ever make another game without him? I think they should never use the name Metal Gear Solid ever again, but that doesn't mean they won't use Metal Gear on something, and you know they will. I'm thinking the most likely thing to happen next might be Metal Gear Rising 2, but that's just a guess. If they don't do that next, who knows what they got in store for us? I have no idea. But do I think they should? I think they should leave Metal Gear Solid alone, but making another Metal Gear game is inevitable. It's Konami's it's Konami's baby. They're gonna fucking keep it going. It's gonna happen. Moving on to the next person. Okay. I have never known how to pronounce this. RATPTOI01, RATPTOI, or T0I, I don't know. I've never known how to pronounce your name, bro, but it's on the screen right now. When did it hit you that MGS stopped being a self-conscious spy flick parody and started actually believing in its own shit? I 100% right after Metal Gear Solid 1, because in Metal Gear Solid 1, it was almost like a James Bond ripoff in terms of like the story and what was going on and how everything was. It was like a James Bond or a Mission Impossible story. You know what I mean? It was like a parody or a take on that, and that's what it was. If it was a standalone Metal Gear Solid game, boom, no other sequel trying to continue on the same story, it could be like, they could be like James Bond stories, he's on separate. But then it's like, I think they thought they were onto something with Metal Gear Solid 1, so they took it a step further with Metal Gear Solid 2 and tried to do that whole conspiracy thing, the recreating the events and all, and they just went all out from there. And then they started going backstory with Metal Gear Solid 3, and it just, I think as soon as they decided to do Metal Gear Solid 2 and connect it with one story wise, that's when they decided it was going to be, this is going to be serious stuff in its own thing, and people are going to love it. And that's exactly what happened. So here we are. So it didn't take them long, is my point. Anyway, next question. Grandma Stu, another longtime viewer. How you doing? Looking back on it, how do you feel about playing as Ridin in MGS2? At first, I personally had no problem with him, but I liked him even more towards the end, and later learned he was meant to be more relatable to the average player than Snake, which he definitely was. I guess he was more relatable. I don't know. Well, how did I feel about playing as him? I didn't like it at first. Looking back on it, I didn't mind it as much. It's not that big a deal. It's kind of interesting to play as somebody who has similar skill set to Snake while you're playing the game, and then Snake is also involved in the story. I think that what made it okay that Snake was also involved in the story. So yeah, I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you on the more relatable thing. I think that was the intention at first, but by the end, when you learn more about what Raiden actually is, you're like, oh my god, okay, there goes the relation out the window. The only part that you relate to at that point is the part where the whole thing is a fucking garbage ass AI and it's supposed to trick him and you at the same time. So, I mean, relatable, I don't know. I didn't like his character that much, personally, Raiden. He was kind of a whiny little bitch. At least in Metal Gear Solid 2 he was, but let's move on now, shall we? Let's see. Okay, the next question comes to us from McHale, or Nicholas Michael, or something like that. Anyways, his first question was, or is, which group of MGS enemies did you like the best? You know, between Foxhound, Dead Cell, the Cobras, Beauty and the Beast, and whoever else. This is the list I was looking for before. Anyways, I think the answer to this question is super obvious. I've made it clear many times. I love Foxhound for various reasons. There's not any one reason why I like them the best. I like all the people that are in the group, pretty much all of them. The only one I don't know if I like that much or not is Decoy Octopus, and that's just because he doesn't really exist in the game. Oh well. But yeah, between Psycho Mantis, Sniper Wolf, Vulcan, Raven, Liquid, he's cool. Ocelot, I mean, we're talking a pretty good group there. So, yeah, that's definitely my favorite. It's hands down, like it's not even disputable at all. And here's another Metal Gear Solid unrelated question. This is an non-MGS related, but I know you played Xenoblade and Xenogears. Have you considered playing Xenosaga? Well, hey, if you paid attention to the end of Xenogears at the very end, I had a lot of people ask me about Xenosaga, pretty much the whole Xenogears Let's Play, and I addressed that at the end, saying most likely never going to play those on the channel. Not saying I'll never play the games, but I'm most likely never going to play them on the channel at all. At all. Just putting that out there. They're too long, they're too much, I don't even know how to describe it. I haven't played them, first of all, if I hadn't made that clear, but I don't know. I don't think I would play them on this channel. That's all I can say. They're just too much. Too much. Those of you who played them probably know what I mean. So let's just move on from that question. Next questions come to us from Ivorysama. I'll go with that. Will you do anything of Metal Gear Solid Online? I've thought about this, and I'm going to probably not do any Metal Gear Solid Online. Other than just, I haven't done any very much online content at all. The only way I would do that is if I did a one-off Wednesday of it, and I guess I'll leave that open as a possibility someday. But, no plans. No Metal Gear Solid Online. The next question is another unrelated one, but would you consider playing Shin Megami Tensei games in the future, specifically Nocturne? Other than Persona, I don't think I'm going to play any of the other ones. I think they're a little too dungeon crawly for me. I know that they're probably great games, but I mean, even Persona is pretty dungeon crawly, but the story and the other stuff in between kind of makes it worth it. And for dungeon crawling, I can cut a lot. So I mean, I guess because I can cut and edit the videos as I wish, they're not impossible. But I've never had any plans to do any SMT games other than Persona, and I didn't even really plan on doing Persona 4 in the first place. But I've had so many people ask me about it, and I've heard so many good things. And one of my best friends loves the shit out of those games, and I'm like, I owe it to myself to at least play one of these. And now I'm going to play at least Persona 3 on this channel at some point. So I guess look forward to that someday. It's not coming next or anything, but eventually we'll get to Persona 3. Don't worry. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. From FrancoSofia. Hey, Funky G, this is my first time leaving a question. Popped a cherry. What did you think of all the cassette tapes replacing some of the cutscenes? I'm 50-50 on it, because I like cutscenes, but Metal Gear Solid 4 was like a Yakuza game. Anyways, your thoughts? Wait, what? Wait, Metal Gear Solid 4 was like a Yakuza game? What, like, is Yakuza full of nothing but cutscenes? It's like a movie? That's what Metal Gear Solid 4 was like. What did I think of the cassette tapes replacing most of the cutscenes? I thought it was shitty. You're gonna have all this voice acting. You're gonna have all this epic fucking shit going on, and you're gonna have it all through cassette tape. I think I even said that when the cassette tapes were playing, like, I would have loved to see this conversation in person. It would have been great. The voice acting's already there. All you had to do was fucking do it. But no. Even if they just have sit in a room to have the conversations that we're having on the tapes. Fine. Have them be cutscenes, please. Please. The cassette tapes made sense on Peace Walker because it was a handheld, but not on PS4. Sorry. Unacceptable. Moving on. Next question comes to us from David Longworth. Hey, Funky G, what does the Metal Gear Solid series rank amongst your favorite game franchises? Well, okay, he's got more there, so let's just start with that. Where does it rank amongst my favorite game franchises? Oh, boy, don't even, not even top 10. Nope, not even top 10. Nope, not even top 10. If it's not top 10, it's not worth talking about, and it's not even in my top 10. I know, Metal Gear Solid fans are probably like, what the fuck, really? But I already have a top 10, essentially, and Metal Gear Solid wasn't on it, and it hasn't cracked it, so there you go. That's all I can say. And that's in game franchises, not just games. But I will say the first Metal Gear Solid, if and when I ever do finally do a top 25 video, Metal Gear Solid is in the top 25, if that makes anybody feel any better about it. But as a game franchises, nope. Metal Gear Solid, not in the top 10. Just going to leave it at that. How is Solid Snake amongst my favorite characters? That might be another story, because characters are very much more specific than franchise games in terms of how much I enjoy them. As a Solid Snake as a character? Ooh, would he be even top 10, though? He probably wouldn't crack my top 10 either, just because so many RPG characters I love. Most of my top 10 would probably be RPG guys and Mega Man, even though Mega Man is a non-fleshed out character, but I just love Mega Man in general. Yeah, sorry. I as much as I have enjoyed playing the Metal Gear Solid games, I'm very much a big time gamer, so I've played a lot of games and a lot of series, and I know that they're not in my top 10. They're just not. Anyway, did I expect to become so into the games? No, I did not. That's one thing. Even though I'm saying these things did not fall in my top 10, it doesn't mean I did not enjoy them enormously. I did. I enjoyed playing all of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it on this channel. Trust me on that. I don't play games on this channel. Like, I wouldn't move on to another game in a series that I wasn't having fun with. I would not. If I play one game in a series and I don't like it, probably not going to do the next one. It's just not going to happen. And if it's a series I know I'll like, that, like there's like a weak entry in it, and people tell me that it's the weak entry ahead of time, or I already know it is, then that's an exception. So, yeah. But, like I said, if I'm not at least enjoying the series in some regard, I wouldn't even have kept going. So, did I expect to? No. I just played Metal Gear Solid one day, and I was like, this is pretty damn awesome. I think I'll play the rest of them. And I had a big enough following, or like I say, a big enough ask for it, because people actually enjoyed me playing Metal Gear Solid blindly. I was like, fine. People want it, I actually want to do it, so let's do it. And that's what happened, and here we are, 5 Metal Gear Solid games and other assorted Metal Gear games later. Is there more to that, or was that it? I think you once... Yeah, see, I think the rest of his comment was, I think you once said you played the first game on a whim and you ended up playing the entire series. I love your work, and your mustache even more. Keep it up, pal. I keep it nice. Anyway, I should have read the whole thing. I stopped in the middle there. Okay, so the next question comes from John Appleseed. At the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, did you notice when Venom Snake flips the tape over and it says Operation Intrude N313? That's when Solid Snake infiltrates Outer Heaven and kills Venom Snake in the Metal Gear 1. You can also see first Venom Snake punches in the mirror. Basically, when Venom Snake flips do you think he punches... Okay, I was like, is there a question here? I mean, there's a question in the first sentence. Did I notice that it said it on the tape, N313? Yes, I did notice. I didn't relate it to Metal Gear on MSX because I barely paid attention to the story in those ones. But I think there's a question here at the end. Do you think he punches the mirror? This is talking about the end of Metal Gear Solid 5 when he punches through the mirror. Because he finds out on the tape that the real Big Boss sends Solid Snake to kill him, and he's like, "Fuck you, I'm the real Big Boss." Huh. So is he punching the mirror because he's like, "Fuck you, Big Boss," or is he punching the mirror just for dramatic effect? Because that's what I looked at it as. Like, I don't think he's mad at Big Boss. I think he was just like, "Fuck, the truth hurts." That's how I look at it. I don't think he's like, "No, I'm Big Boss. You're not Big Boss." I don't think that was the reason he punched it at all. I think it was literally just like someone just punched the wall. Like, God damn. I can't believe that just happened. It was more like that. Oh, and Johnny Appleseed over here has some more questions. I forgot he commented. Oh, yeah, that's right. He commented like 4 comments. They all had different questions. What did you think of Skullface? Do you think his character should have been explained more? I like how Skullface looks. I liked him as a person. Like, his character was cool. But then the background we got on him, I did not like that. I thought he should have been more connected to like somebody that Snake actually knew about, and not the leader of a group that was in the background the whole time that you never saw. They were the cleanup crew after after Big Boss's missions, blah blah blah. I didn't like that. I thought he was going to be more connected to the actual Big Boss story. I thought that was kind of dumb. His character, his background was dumb. Should we have learned more? I think we learned enough. The fact that we learned through cassette tapes was kind of garbage. We should have learned it through either from Skullface's mouth himself or from Zero's mouth telling Snake to his face, Big Boss, meaning. But anyway, yes, I did not like his character that much. I liked how he looked, and I liked him as a personality. That was the parts I did like, but I just didn't like his background and motivations. Would you have preferred hour-long cutscenes or listening cassette tapes? I think I've already established that in this questions. Cutscenes would have been better. Fuck cassette tapes. What did you think of Ocelot and Snake in MGS5? Just like the relationship, or I mean, I've already kind of touched on this. Ocelot I did not care for in Metal Gear Solid 5. He was kind of just a buddy character mostly. He got a little bit of a personality with the guns and the torture thing, but otherwise, Ocelot not cool. Snake, I assume by Snake you just mean Big Boss or whatever, Venom Snake, who turned out to not actually be Big Boss. What did I think of him? I thought he was kind of boring, because I think Jack Bauer did not do him justice. I did not try to act like Jack Bauer would have done a bad job originally, but I think maybe just he didn't have a lot to work with. Maybe they didn't want to have him do a lot of dialogue. Maybe they were trying to emphasize the fact that it wasn't actually Big Boss, so that's why they were okay with him being different voice. Maybe that's why they were okay with not using David Hayter. I wouldn't have guessed that beforehand, but now that I know what I know, it kind of makes more sense. But anyway, his character in general wasn't that great. He was just kind of there to be the outlet for the player. There wasn't much personality to him. Anyway, moving on. Next person. Oh, this guy. I've seen this guy comment this before, and let's just read the question. And it's not even a question. I'm just, BJ Cherenkov. Now, if it didn't have a question in it, I wouldn't even be reading this. But the first thing he says is a question. It says, what are you? I don't know. That's what I am. This is what I am. That's the answer to your question. Next person. Next question from Sasami-chan, one of my longtime viewers, and I was actually surprised he asked the Metal Gear question, but Good for you, man. Good for you. He's been a lot all over my Mario Maker videos lately. Have you ever played Metal Gear on NES, and have you beaten it? And we're not talking about Metal Gear MSX. We're talking about Metal Gear on NES in America, which was a piece of garbage. I know it's playable, much more playable than I ever thought it was. I've looked at it. I've seen people play it now. It's not too bad. I might consider playing it for real one day, but it's not on my list of things to do. And so the answer is yes, I've played it. I thought it was garbage back when I was a kid because it's too fucking confusing and hard to figure out right at the beginning with those goddamn dogs. Yeah, I haven't beat it. There you go. I played it, haven't beat it. The end. Next question. Okay, comes to us from Johnny Dixon. How you doing? Do you think the Metal Gear series should end? Personally, I do, mainly due to the fact that it doesn't have Kojima and because of how underwhelming 5 was. Yes, I think it should end. I think it should be over. Metal Gear Solid is probably over. Metal Gear, definitely not over. I'll 100% guarantee you that Konami will not let it die. The only way they'll let it die is if a Metal Gear game comes out and it doesn't sell. Otherwise, it will never die. Never, ever. Moving on. Okay, next question from Alvin Davenport. Okay, he's got a few things in interest of organization. I shall number them. I seem to have missed your Metal Gear Solid 4 QA vid. I gotta look that up. It's interesting to know that put a face to the voice. I'm coming around the... Okay, this is not questions. Where are the... Sorry. He's got questions here. Let's get to the questions. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I do feel obligated to ask a question and not just state random facts, so here goes. In terms of actual physical Metal Gears, which one would you think would win an all-half... Oh, this is an awesome question. That's right. I remember reading this one. Okay, when he means actual physical Metal Gears, I think he means Metal Gear Rex, Metal Gear Ray, and all the other ones in between. Sahelanthropus, I guess we can count that one. Probably count the Shagohod if you want. I don't know. I don't know which ones we're going to count. Which one would I think would win out of all of them, though? In like a giant BattleBots arena? Oh, man, that'd be cool. I would watch the shit out of that. Who would win? Who would win? Who would win? I'm going to go Metal Gear... Rex and Ray are neck and neck for me. They really are. That's why it was cool to see them fight in Metal Gear Solid 4. I really like Metal Gear Ray. I really do. Metal Gear Ray was good. Really cool. Who would actually win? I don't know. It's hard. That's a hard question to answer. It really is. The Sahelanthropus might kick some ass, but those other Metal Gears came later, so they're probably better. I'm probably going to go Metal Gear Ray. I'm just going to go Metal Gear Ray. Rex or Ray, one of them would win. The other ones are going to get wrecked because they're old as shit. Those are the only two that really matter, right? There's nothing that come after that, right? I don't think so. Anyway, moving on. Next question. That's actually... I didn't realize all those from Alvin Davenport were not questions. I shouldn't have copied his whole comment. But anyway, thanks for the question anyway, Alvin. Moving on. Chris M. Would you ever do Let's Watches of anime? Here's another one, random one that's not Metal Gear related. Would I ever do Let's Watches of anime? I don't think so. I like anime. Anime's awesome, but I don't like to do commentary over movie slash... I could probably do a movie, but I would not do shows. I don't think I could do shows. No. I don't think I could do shows. Anime included. So no, I would not do Let's Watches of anime, even though it is not a bad idea. Movie commentary might be cool, though, especially for movies I love. But let's not even consider that a thing. I'm just saying that out loud because somebody asked me about doing Let's Watches of anime. So, yeah. I guess the best I could say we could probably do, but I still probably wouldn't do it as reviews of anime, meaning just, like, do one of these where I just talk about the anime and maybe even have you guys ask questions about it and I answer them. That's the best I could probably promise or even suggest at that. But that's even not a thing unless it really becomes a request, which I doubt. All right, let's move on here. Let's try to wrap this up quickly. I got 2 more people here. Osvaldo Rodriguez, some 2-bit guy. He's been around for a while. How you doing, bruh? He asks about Persona 3. Will I do that in the future? And the answer to that is yes. It's just a matter of time. Which MGS do you personally think played the best? Like, which had the most satisfying controls and mechanics? If you're going to take level design into account, it has to be fair and take the VR missions. Well, if I'm going to take VR missions into account, I still probably won't pick Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2, because I think the one that had the best controls was Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah, that's the only credit I'm going to give it. It has the best Metal Gear Solid gameplay. It does. It does. I wish the level design was better. The level design's fine for what it is, but I wish there was more unique areas to go to sneak through, like the other Metal Gear Solid games. That's the only thing that's lacking. But in general, the gameplay is the best. It is. It is. There's no disputing. It is the best. Because if you're going to pick Metal Gear Solid 3 or 4, then you're dumb, because Metal Gear Solid 5 has better gameplay than both of those. Easily. Yeah. 1 and 2, the only reason you even put those into this conversation is because of the VR missions and the fact that they are there and they give you some extra, like, challenges. But Metal Gear Solid 5 has plenty of that, too, so... yeah. Alright, last person. Wait, hold on. Never mind. Osvaldo had one more. Who's your favorite snake? Don't have to pick why, just pick one. Solid, Ridin, Naked, Old, Big Boss, Venom. I'm gonna go with Solid Snake. I think that's an easy answer. I like his character the best. And I guess that kind of rolls Old Snake into it, because it's the same guy, right? Yeah, I think he's my favorite. Solid Snake. We'll just call Solid Snake my favorite. It's cliche, but it is. Alright, last person. Let's get to this. Creepy Bread. I wanted to ask, how do you feel about the ending to Metal Gear Solid 2? The entire talk with Colonel Solidus. I know you were mostly quiet. You were absorbing the info, but now that you have gone through the games, I just want to know your thoughts on was the Patriots doing the right thing in your opinion? Censoring information, controlling it. What do you think was the idea of it? I know it's a long topic. It's been a while since it's possible. Also, thanks so much for playing Expecting Fierce series. A lot of other Let's Players that I've watched play the Metal Gear series bash on at times, and mostly that's because of their own incompetence. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the series thoroughly. Can't wait to see what you have next for us. That's a lot of long-winded. I can't believe man. Thank you. The question, though, Metal Gear Solid 2, how to feel about the ending and all that, the shit that went down. I don't know, man. I feel like they're not off on what the future of the world really is going to be, where they're going to censor information and control it. I think they were already kind of headed that way. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories now, but I'm just going to say that, if anything, the guys who write, if Kojima wrote it, whatever, the story for Metal Gear Solid 2 with the whole censorship thing, probably right on target for what the world is really going to end up doing and going towards in the future of our world. And it's kind of sad, but it is true, and it's the way the world is headed. That's what I think. I think they were spot on with it, is what I think. In terms of compared, for what the game was, it's fine. It was just a big twist at the end where we really, you played the whole Metal Gear, you went through the whole place, and it was like replaying Metal Gear 1 almost. But then they have that big twist where it was all set up. I mean, looking back on it, it's fine. I didn't dislike it. It is what it is. I don't really have a strong opinion either way on it. I accept it for what it is, and like I said, I think they were pretty spot on in real life application there with the controlling of information. And I'm going to stop repeating myself, and that's all it's all she wrote. It's all she wrote. Okay, looks like that does it. I don't have any questions left from the video, so I think we're done here. I hope you guys enjoyed my answers to your questions, or at least found them sufficient enough for your earballs, and if you have any additional comments or questions on anything I had to say in this video, yeah, feel free to put it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, that's going to do it for the Metal Gear Solid series, guys. I don't think we're going to do any more. I think we're done. Let's move on with our lives, shall we? I mean, it's about time. We've been doing Metal Gear Solid for 3 years now. I think 3 years? Is that right? Yeah, I guess it's been 3 years. Oh, man. Time flies when you're having super duper fun time. But anyway, yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. I really feel like I should do this kind of thing more often with the questions and the answers, or at the very least comments with my face talking about the thing, more focused on the topic and not just playing the game and talking about the game, So that's going to wrap up this video. I guess I will see you guys on something else. Peace.